Another Trump voter just called into the news to admit they regret voting for Trump.
I cannot believe I drank the Kool-Aid, okay? I am guilty. I drank the Kool-Aid of Donald J. Trump. This man is ruining the Constitution of the United States.
We're seeing that more and more lately.
Not proud of it. Man enough to say it. I was one of those guys back in 2020.
Because at this point, Trump is one of the most unpopular presidents in history, and he's bleeding support. The economy's a mess. We're still in a war that we didn't ask for or need to be in. Corruption in this administration is running rampant. It's feeling more and more like a dictatorship.
I didn't expect the corruption to be quite as widespread as it's been, and like the self-dealing and the lining of his and his family's pockets. Like that's been a little shocking.
What's really crazy is a lot of these people calling out Trump and speaking out now are lifelong Republicans, conservatives, and diehard Trumpers. And they've literally had enough. I mean, you can hear the regret in real time.
But Trump thinks he can post this picture of himself depicting Jesus, and it's just straight up blasphemy. So now Trump and the MAGA movement have officially lost all my support. Christ is and will always be king.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
Cleveland, Ohio, Republican, you're on open forum.
Well, I'd like to first say I apologize to all of America and all of Americans. I was a diehard Republican. I cannot believe I drank the Kool-Aid, okay? I am guilty. I drank the Kool-Aid of Donald J. Trump. In fact, I don't even know why we keep saying Donald J. Trump. This man is ruining the Constitution of the United States. What's going on in these southern states, Louisiana and Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, they're taking away the vote from the black man, the fight from the black people that are part of our country. They're stealing their vote. They're making it null and mean nothing. And we need to, I don't know what we need to do, but
it's good to hear somebody on that conservative side actually call it out for what it is, them disenfranchising black people, not literally taking our right to vote, but making the right to vote meaningless, which again puts us back in Jim Crow 2.0. The thing about these callers that always get me, and when you see the TikTok videos of people giving up on Trump or finally waking up.
Not proud of it. Man enough to say it. I was one of those guys back in 2020. 2024, shit, even 2016 before I could vote. I was all for Trump. I was all for MAGA. I believed he was going to make America great again. I believed he was going to drain the swamp. I thought he was going to be different. He wasn't a career politician. And boy, was I wrong. My views didn't change. They still remain the same. I did fall for the deception, though, because I can't in good conscience support someone who's responsible for a pointless war where thousands of innocent lives are dying every single day. I can't support someone who mocked Christ on Easter. I sure as hell can't support someone who calls the people who want transparency on one of the most heinous and insidious acts in human history, the Epstein files, calls them liars and lunatics.
But you did support him through all of that up until this point. The discussion around the Epstein files has been going on for years. I will never get how it took so long. Trump has always been exactly who he is.
Donald Trump has a history of racism himself.
No, that's not true.
Are you kidding me?
sorry,
Donald Trump started his career with racism. In the 1970s, he was sued for housing discrimination. In 1989, he was a part of he was led the lynch mob against the Central Park Five. In the 1990s, he was sued by casino workers for racial discrimination. He led a 5.5-year campaign against Barack Obama for allegedly not having an accurate birth certificate. Donald Trump came in office talking about he was going to ban Muslims, and he was called Mexicans were supposedly
He has the
drugs.
most
Donald Trump has a long history. You didn't deny anything of the things I just said.
Trump is all over the Epstein files, and we already knew that too. Trump is aligned with white supremacists and white supremacist alt-right organizations, which is basically what MAGA evolved into. But we already knew that when he said there were good people on both sides, when he refused to call out white supremacists.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, you had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
For some people, their final line in the sand was him tweeting himself as Jesus Christ. But we already know Trump is not a Christian or religious person, not even a little bit. So people being surprised and finally waking up at these different lines being crossed has always been really confusing to me.
But I really want to apologize. I mean,
I'm looking at this awful picture of the Obamas. What an embarrassment to our country. All this man does is tell lies. He is not worthy of the presidency. He takes bribes blatantly.
At this point, they literally have just made corruption legal.
I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I know that this country, if you see all the corruption, the billions of dollars that the Trump family is grabbing, and he says it's never about the money. It's all about the money.
Because Trump's wealth has shot up 165% in 18 months. Since he started his second term, he's been getting richer and richer. The president has made millions from branded Bibles, watches, and a guitar, crypto scams, and tons of insider trading. But the surge in his fortune appears to lie mostly in the cryptocurrency he once derided. That doesn't even include things that clearly should be illegal, like Trump suing his own federal government that he's in charge of, and then settling with himself for $1.8 billion, which is going to be a slush fund to pay people like January 6ers for the inconvenience of being punished for trying to overthrow the government.
Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6ers?
Well, it's been very well received, I have to tell you. I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated, horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed.
Trump went from being worth something like $4 billion, $4.3 billion, which actually went up in his first presidency because they thought he was lying about his net worth initially and he wasn't really a billionaire. But by the end of his first presidency, he was worth $4 billion to now being worth like $7.7 billion in just 2 years, basically, since his second term started. Presidency boosts Trump's net worth by $3 billion in a year.
I didn't expect the corruption to be quite as, widespread as it's been, and like the self-dealing and the lining of his and his family's pockets. Like that's been a little shocking.
Talking
and
billions
I
of dollars.
Expect Trump to be so disrespectful of his base. I mean, you look at like across the board of the Trump family. I've never seen a family get so rich off of a presidency.
Right.
And it happened at the same time as we now have a Supreme Court ruling that basically says any official act he takes while in the White House is protected.
Right.
And those two things are, seem to be giving him some sort of a hall pass that could very much get abused. And I just don't think we want our presidents or their families getting rich off of the presidency. And I really want to know more about all these trades that are happening on Iran right before he makes the announcements. Like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Even one of those would have caused a massive scandal 13 years ago.
Donald Trump just had the most lucrative year of his life as the president. That should be illegal. You should have to give up all your businesses, not own anything that can be affected by your decision for everybody that holds office in the federal government. The president is now worth a record $7.3 billion, up from $4.3 billion in 2024. Come on, man. The amount of corruption is insane.
The lies that come out of this man's mouth, everything he says is not true is exactly what is true. I don't know what needs to be done, but the Democrats need to grab the helm and lead the people what we need to do. They are overwhelming the system of democracy.
They knew exactly who Trump was. They knew what this administration would be. They had a chance to vote for Democrats and chose not to. So they wait for somebody like Trump to come in and to completely tear down every normal guardrail that the federal government has always had to protect itself from dictators and authoritarians, only to turn around and say Democrats need to fix this. Insane. At this point, the only thing I can say is everybody, please get registered to vote. If you are already registered to vote, check, make sure you're still in the rolls, that nothing wonky happened, and your registration is still good, because everybody needs to turn out in the midterms to put brakes on this Trump administration. That's the only way to fix anything, to course correct, to stop any of this chaos. And I guess it's good to get these apologies from one-time Trumpers or MAGA, but it still makes you kind of roll your eyes because we knew exactly who Trump was. We always had. But thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.